Wants it again. Dermot Connolly got a touch on that, which was important, but McNeilish still wins possession for Donegal and is fouled too. They'll have a chance to increase their lead in the last minute of the first half. Brilliant work from Oran McNeilish.
Absolutely superb McNeilish for a young club. Just watch the goal. Murphy got on the end of that ball. Twice he made it available for McFadden, and McFadden's cool head gave it to McHugh, and he just slips it under Cluxon. That is some response from Donegal.
Colin McFadden has kicked 7 frees in Championship 2014, set up the goal for Ryan McHugh, and this to give them a 2-point lead, having twice, 3 times, trailed by 5 points against the reigning Leinster and All-Ireland champions, a team under a manager who have never lost a championship match.
Well, it's the first day I think that Dublin have really had to put up to them. I know Laois were ahead of them 10 points to 8, maybe the opening round of the championship, but Donegal in this game have been inspired despite their poor start.
And here they come again. 2 minutes of added time at the end of a gripping first half. Colin McFadden gave it away cheaply to Johnny Cooper, and McFadden holding on to the Dublin centre-back. Ball back in motion already. Dublin had a spell and are still on a spell without a score of 10 minutes, heading for 11. Paul Flynn trying to change that for the last score before half-time, and that is a very good response. A super response from Paul Flynn. Who else?
Oh, who else indeed? That time again, a poor turnover from McFadden, misplaced pass, but Flynn has been the go-to man all the half, and notches that score superbly. He's been inspirational from a Dublin point of view, but the Donegal response, as we said earlier, after such a poor start, has equally been inspirational and a credit to the preparation.
Donegal free. The momentum continues to swing towards the Ulster champions. Oran McNeilish would rather this on his left boot. Neil Gallagher. McNeilish thought about it, decided to bring Christy Toy in. Colin McFadden. McFadden, that's a long way off. The 2012 McFadden would surely have sailed that one over. Still, they're leading by a point. The 2 minutes almost gone, and the 2 minutes are gone. Joe McQuillan calling for the ball. What a first half we've had. After the first 5 minutes, Dublin were in top gear and tearing Donegal to shreds. But slowly and surely, the Ulster champions have got into their stride. Ryan McHugh's goal giving them the lead, and at half-time, the Ulster champions lead the Leinster and All-Ireland champions by 1-8 to 10 points. What a 35 minutes of football we've had.
Fascinating first half, a pulsating first half of football. Championship might have started a bit slowly, but it's certainly picking up a pace now, isn't it? By the way, we'll be giving you another go at our big Sunday game competition. There's a new car on offer. Details coming up shortly. Now, Colin Moore, Pat Spillane, Joe Brawley here with us in studio. Colin, midway through that first half, I said to you, as Dublin seemed to be on a roll, I said, if Donegal aren't careful, this could go away from them very fast. And then all of a sudden, everything changed.
Yes, and it's an utterly compelling game of football. As good a game as I have ever seen in this stadium, and that's gone back a good few years. I think the quality of score taking has been just fantastic. But as you were saying, Dublin in the first 20 minutes looked in a league of their own, and of course they had 2 goal chances which probably would have finished the game. But in a strange way, I think the fact that Dublin have got in front has forced Donegal to come out and play. And maybe Donegal have found an attacking flourish that they mightn't have realised themselves. And that's with Colin McFadden and Michael Murphy being peripheral to an extent. So the foot soldiers have really dug in for Donegal and dragged them back into the game.
But you kept saying to me, Joe, this is what they do to you, Donegal.
I disagree with that analysis entirely. I don't think there's anything unplanned about what's happening. I was talking to Tomas O'Shea out there, who's saying, I know exactly how the Dublin players are feeling. It's a very unorthodox system to play against. It's relentless, and because, as I said before, they believe. The nightmare is upon Dublin now. Now Dublin, for the first time, have strolled through everybody that they've met. They haven't met this before, they haven't played this before. The nightmare is upon them. Donegal will stay there, they'll be relentless, they'll pick off their chances. They'll take their scores more easily than the Dubs. The Dubs have scored 8 as brilliant a points as I've ever seen in Croke Park, all from long range. You cannot sustain that through 70 minutes. You start to tire, you start to make mistakes. For the first 20 minutes, the Dubs were immaculate, but the crucial thing was they didn't score a goal.
Yeah.
Donegal held them out. And you can see with Donegal, it's just remorseless, it's patient, and
But
they're now starting to psychologically exert themselves in the Dubs. So we'll see now what the Dubs are made of in the second half.
No, we definitely will. But Pat Spillane, as well as that, a couple of games this season with Dublin, we've been saying to ourselves at half-time, maybe they're not as good as we thought we were. And then they came out and just walked away from opponents.
Maybe
Is this different?
Yeah, it's a fair point, Michael, because there's no doubt about it. They haven't been tested to date. The opposition in Leinster was very, very feeble, to say the least. Now, they were tested for 20 minutes against Monaghan, then blitzed them with 2 goals in a minute. So today, they're in a test. They're going to have to dig deep, and you just have to sit back. I loved that first half. I thought it was brilliant. It was enthralling. It was captivating. It was a clash of 2 contrasting styles, the swashbuckling pace of Dubs against a system that Dublin, but you have against a system that Donegal have perfected. What you have to do is you have to sit back and admire the character, the resolve, the spirit, the work rate of this Donegal team. It's absolutely tremendous. They could have been out of sight, Dublin, and yet 5 points down, a 7-point turnaround from Donegal. We are in for a great second half.
Let's walk our way through that first half, Joe Bradley. Let's look at the pressure that Dublin put Donegal under at the start of the half.
The thing that Donegal have identified is this. They've identified the problem that the Dubs have, and the problem that the Dubs have is in their full-back line, where they're man-to-man. They're left-standed, so if you can move the ball in there, you will find yourself man-to-man. Now, Dublin have done almost everything right. The high-pressure defence has made it impossible for Donegal to come out in numbers the way they like to. They've turned them over very, very frequently indeed. Normally, Donegal sweepers would have clear room in front of them. So Dublin have very cleverly closed that off. They're corralling them as they do, so that as the ball moves to one side of the pitch, you'll see Dublin defenders drifting across, close them into a corner, and then dispossess them. And they've done this regularly throughout the first half. The problem is with Donegal, as I said before the game started, is that doesn't deter them. They're ready for this. What they're thinking of all the time is, where's the next score coming from? We'll just keep doing what we're doing. And you can see that they've been able to identify that, and they've got the goal, which is what they're looking for. It didn't deter them, Colin
O'Rourke, exactly as Joe said. They just ground their way back into that game and played good football doing it.
Played good football. I wouldn't be probably fair to say the ground them back, because they got just as good as scores as Dublin got early on. Even though Flynn has run amok for Dublin, and I suppose
4 brilliant points.
Why nobody seems to be marking him. But Donegal have been very accurate as well, and Oran McNeilis has kicked points, Rory Kavanagh, Michael Murphy. You know, we've had quality point taking on both sides. But the Dublin defenders there are standing a long way off their men, and the Dublin forwards aren't getting the same room when they're shooting at the other side.
Wasn't this a bit like with Kieran Donaghy yesterday, where sometimes route one into a big full forward, into Michael Murphy, will cause difficulty, and it was a lovely finish by Ryan McHugh, wasn't it?
Mick Fitzsimons he had the ball in his hand. Look, he's so easy.
He's not physically strong, is he?
Picking up on Colm's point, Dublin's tackling out the field is brilliant, and their pressure out the field is brilliant. But once you get in over the top of that, if you can get into their full back line, and McGuinness knows this well, you see the way they're set up.
Joe, when you look at tackling, look at Donegal's tackling in that half. They conceded no scoreable frees. Brilliant. You have enough.
We will have the second half of
change that was made, the alteration that was made to the Dublin team just before the throw-in. Nicky Devereux, as quick as there is in Gaelic football. Second half underway. Michael Darragh Macaulay with possession for Dublin. Keane O'Sullivan, James McCarthy raiding forward, congested through the middle. Bernard Brogan is out. Alan Brogan now on his left boot, equally good left or right, but he won't be happy with that one because it's gone wide. 5th wide for Dublin, first in the second half. And on the Donegal 65-metre line, Michael Murphy is down injured.
Yeah, I think there was a little incident.
Amazing in that first half. They gave away just 3 frees. Here's Frank McGlynn for the Ulster champions. Michael Murphy in at full forward. Murphy steadies down, taking it a bit closer. He's impossible to dispossess. Neil Gallagher. Now Colin McFadden. McFadden for Donegal. Did he get it? No, he's put it wide. It was a tight call. Colin McFadden with a bad miss.
Yeah, that is the 2 Glenswilly lads, Neil Gallagher and Michael Murphy combined. Colin McFadden ultimately got it. Should have scored that one. That was an easy enough opportunity.
Nicky Devereux. Dermot Connolly, 3 points he got in the first half. Dublin had 4 different scorers. They've been reaching double figures in that particular count in their games so far, but just 4. Flynn top scored with 4 points. Connolly after him with 3. Michael Murphy has 3 for Donegal. Neil Gallagher. Frank McGlynn. Christy Toy came on towards the end of the first half. Anthony Thompson wanted it, and Toy's made space. Brilliant from Christy Toy. Not such a good shot, though, and the bounce was okay for Stephen Cluxton to deal with. Buzz around the stadium. Paul Flynn drives it forward. Owen O'Gara's out in front. O'Gara can't hang on to it. Well done, Eamon McGee. And Frank McGlynn sweeping up behind. Paul Durkin, quick hands out to Neil Gallagher. Gallagher, Rory Kavanagh, and they've worked an opening for Eamon McGee. Anthony Thompson bursting ahead of him. Keane Sullivan has gone with him. Anthony Thompson, good running from the right half back. Ryan McHugh is screaming for it. McHugh is in after a goal again. He ghosted into position. Donegal have a new hero from one of the most famous Donegal families in Gaelic football. Ryan McHugh with 2 goals, 2 8 to 10 points. Now we'll see what Dublin are made of. Ryan McHugh's goal. Another one.
Well, that build-up was in slow motion with Neil Gallagher and 1 or 2 others, but what a finish by McHugh.
Alan Brogan with the Dublin response. He missed one about 60 seconds ago, and he's missed another one, and all is not well with the all-conquering Leinster and All-Ireland champions. Perfect start to the second half for the underdogs, the massive underdogs.
Yeah, great patience, a great vision, and just composure by Anthony Thompson. Ryan McHugh does the hard work in getting into position and executes it, magnificently into the corner. But the play out at the halfway line with Neil Gallagher and Thompson was just magnificent as an example of patient play.
And here they come again, and it's Ryan McHugh right down the middle, options right and left. He's on a hat-trick. Here's Colin McFadden. McFadden back in and gets his point with the fist. Dublin cut open, and Donegal, well, not too many people outside their county thought they'd come here and win. But they really believe, these 15 guys out there, 2-9 to 10 points. Donegal very much in charge, and here's the first counter from Jim Gavin. Well, the second one, Devereaux's come on. Now it's Kevin McManaman. Dermot Connolly. Remember that swashbuckling football from the first 5 minutes. They haven't been able to do it too often. Brogan, third time lucky. Alan Brogan has got it after 2 misses, and they needed that one just to steady the ship and to calm things down. They don't do panic. The player going off is Cormac Costello, and Kevin McManaman is his replacement. He changed the course of the 2011 semi-final when he came on. He ran directly at Donegal and cut them open time after time. But Donegal have scored 2 goals. Dublin yet to get a single green flag.
Well, whatever it is about Donegal, they have this capacity to inspire dread in their opponents, and even though with a very poor start, that little bit of sustained pressure that they exerted has resulted in great scores for them and a deserved lead.
Huge distance and a gap in front of the Donegal full forward line. Here come Dublin. Owen O'Gara, Bernard Brogan, they need him. They've had a point from Allen, and that is close and tight, and it's over from brother Bernard. 2 quick scores.
It's a magnificent response this time from Dublin. Good work by O'Gara, holding up a good tackle from Eamon McGee. Good angle of running and a fabulous his right foot.
What a game this is. The ultimate test for Dublin. Donegal will be with them all the way. Not here to entertain, they're here to win. Oran McNeilish winning at the moment. Donegal, Dublin attacking. That was thrown, was it? And the referee, I think, has spotted another infringement.
I must say the referee is refereed it very well, but I don't know what that was for. I didn't actually see the incident.
Well, no matter, it's a Dublin free anyway, and they want Stephen Cluxton to come forward to take it. He did miss one from a very tricky angle in the first half. This is the incident. It was a pullback.
A little pull, yeah, but a lot of those have been let go before now, and you know, why change your way of refereeing?
Jim McGuinness prowling the sideline. His tactical master plan working a treat against a team that many said could not be beaten and would not be beaten in 2014. It's a good distance in for Stephen Cluxton. O'Gara's in after it, and the referee has called a square ball.
Yeah, I think that's the signal he gave all right. I think O'Gara and one of the McGee's was wrestling away in there, but O'Gara was in before the ball arrived.
The Donegal response from the line is Paddy McBrearty for Leo McClune.
Well, Paddy McBrearty's brother had a stormer for Donegal, I think a man of the match performance in the minor game, and Paddy will certainly hope to emulate it with the remaining time left to him here.
It's been a pretty good day already for the Kilcar club in Donegal, with Ryan McHugh scoring his 2 goals, but how will the day end? That's a Dublin line ball. Dermot Connolly wanted to play on. They're anxious to get back into this rhythm and tempo which they brought to bear on every team they've faced in 2014. They had it in the first 5 minutes of this game, but they haven't been allowed to settle back down again. Paul Flynn blocked down by Neil Gallagher. That was too casual. Surprising from Flynn, but not surprising from Gallagher. Here come Donegal. Driving out is Paddy McBrearty, and allowed to travel a long way as James McCarthy runs away from him. Frank McGlynn is forward. Donegal are in again. McGlynn over. Wonderful score. Frank McGlynn, such a brilliant footballer, and attacked and attacked and attacked McCarthy, who's so quick, couldn't get near him. 2-10 to 12. Great points from Frank McGlynn. Good team score.
Great team score, and again Paddy McBrearty's benchmark is on that. Great wording from him, but great running also from Frank McGlynn. Wonderful score.
4 between them. Johnny Cooper picks out Philly McMahon. Oran McNeilish trying to get back at him and dragged on the collar of his jersey, which stood up to the challenge, but Philly McMahon fell down, and there's a card coming. Or is it just a ticking?
I think it's just a ticking, Darrell. Actually interesting there, Frank McGlynn's going back. That run that where he scored the last point took quite a bit out of him. I just felt he might have actually nicked the hamstring. Just watched the way he was feeling it as he came back.
Bernard Brogan's attempt at the free. They haven't needed his prowess from place balls. They may need it before the day is out. That's a poor wide from Bernard Brogan. Yeah. Under pressure all over the place. Here's Durkin's kick out. Disguised where he was going with that, but Flynn read it. Now Bernard Brogan. Is there a goal in Dublin? They always score goals. Looking for a point is Owen O'Gara, and O'Gara has hit that a mile wide. They're in bother.
They're in bother. The composure that we associate with Dublin isn't there at the moment. That was rushed. There was no kind of effort to bring other forwards into play, and you could see the moment it left his boot that he was disgusted with that. Dublin need just to settle down at the moment. They're in the game, but they just need a little bit more composure up front.
So where's Paul Durkin going with this restart? Right down the middle is the answer, and he has passed just about the Dublin 45-metre line. Murphy's flick on. It's Neil Gallagher, now Oran McNeilish. They could be in for another goal, Donegal. McNeilish wants it on his left boot. Here's Colin McFadden! McFadden! Goal! It is really on for Donegal, and Colin McFadden is back in business, and Donegal can start dreaming. 46 minutes played, and Dublin's goal has been breached 3 times, and Colin McFadden, repaying the faith of his manager, juggled with it, couldn't miss from there. 3-10 to 12.
Wow, McFadden, my God, so many Donegal attackers were in a position to execute that, and look at it again, they have a turnover.
McManaman losing out. Is this going to be Donegal's day? Dean Rock is going to come in for Dublin. Rory Kavanagh for Donegal. They should have the fitness and the stamina to stay going with Dublin and they've conceded a free. Have Dublin. Rory Kavanagh's gone down, and Colin McFadden will fancy a go at this. And even the free will allow them just to calm things down a bit and try and slow this as much as they can, which was another one of their aims during the course of the game. But 3 goals beyond their wildest dreams.
Yeah, just watch this. Once again, McFadden just takes his time, walks around, clocks and sticks it in the net. But the problem Dublin have, they came into this game, everybody had the convinced that they were unbeatable. Everybody had it the convinced that it was only a case of turning up, putting Donegal to the sword and going off and collecting the Sam Maguire when they play Kerry. But when the challenge was put up to them today, all of a sudden they have fallen asunder. But there's still a long way to go, Dara.
Well, they've been in serious bother in matches earlier this year in the league. You remember against Cork, after 40 minutes they were 10 points down and managed to pull that out of the bag. Owen O'Gara has gone off, hasn't been his best day in the blue of Dublin. Dean Rock, few people thought he would start because of his prowess kicking points from way out the field. Colin McFadden's attempted a point, he's got his goal, and now he's got a point to add to that, and the lead swells still further.
My God, 13 minutes gone. Their lead has gone up to, what is it, Dara, 8 points?
8. Who'd have thought? Who would have predicted this? Not too many even within that Donegal camp would have thought they'd be leading by 8 after 48 minutes of a compelling, gripping, thrilling All-Ireland semi-final, and thankfully we still have a long way to go.
Yeah, and even if you watch that ball that Dean Rock controlled that time, you know, a lot of them have the jitters at the moment. The confidence is draining from them, and they need scores, and scores very quickly.
Kevin McMenamin got it eventually. James McCarthy. Right down the middle. Diarmuid Connolly. Well, he did well to get away and still continue to move away from the Donegal cover. Connolly deserves a point out of it and got it. That was stunning. Remember his point in the first half, jinking one way then the other, and that was just pure determination. Would not be stopped, would not be beaten, and trying to do everything he can to stop Dublin being beaten here. 3-11 to 13.
That's leadership at its best. Great perseverance by Connolly, that time under severe pressure. Took on the responsibility and put it over the bar. His 4th score today, but he has been outstanding, as has Flynn been outstanding. But Dublin need that collective effort. Just the confidence and the belief seems to have drained from them, and they have a big problem. They need goals. It goes fast.
Haven't got a goal. 3 points they've scored in the second half. Donegal have got 2 goals and 3. We've been playing for close to a quarter of an hour of the second half. Michael Darragh Macaulay, Johnny Cooper having a go. He's dropped that one short. Catching practice for Paul Durkin. Frank McGlynn. Rory Kavanagh.
Keep it moving! Keep it moving!
Paul Flynn there with him, and Flynn has won it back. Tiny margins. Add up the inches. Here's Cian O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan dragged back by Neil Gallagher. Free coming. The referee was playing an advantage. There was no advantage during that 5-second period for Dublin, and they've got a free.
Yeah, that time again, I think it was Rory Kavanagh going out with the ball. Nobody was making the run for him. Good, well turned over by the Dublin attack, and this gives an opportunity now to Brogan to narrow the margin.
Well, it's in a pretty good position for Bernard Brogan. That last miss will be put out of his mind, and Brogan has done his stuff with the free. 6 points, manageable too, but they need to up it several gears with 20 minutes to go under that.
Yeah, but there's loads of time to go, Dara. Donegal need to keep pushing forward, not getting too defensive.
Well, they spoke in the build-up to this game about Donegal needing to up their scoring rate. Their average was 115 over the course of the 4 matches they've played. 3-11 they've got so far. Here's James McCarthy as Dublin come again. Dean Rock. Bernard Brogan juggling with it. Ball lost. Neil Gallagher. Just 2 Donegal attackers inside the Dublin half at the moment, as Ryan McHugh gets on his bike and lets the ball move up to Paddy McGrath. With the gloves on, Alan Brogan there with him. Advantage being played. Rory Kavanagh. It's been some 24 hours for the football championship. Oran McNeilish. launching that forward, and Carl Lacey deceived by the bounce. Michael Darragh Macaulay never deceived by much. Michael Fitzsimons, Nicky Devereux. Chance for him to run right down the middle. What can he set up? Dean Rock comes out. Devereux's got it again. Alan Brogan, brilliant noise around the stadium. Here's Johnny Cooper. Cooper juggling with it. Ran out of ideas, ran out of space, and ran into that Donegal wall. And that's a foul by Dean Rock.
Yeah, lovely bit of defending that time. A combination of Paddy McGrath, Frank McGlynn closed out the space. Cooper seemed in two minds of what to do. But I think Dublin are very much conscious now of getting bodies forward. There are loads of gaps appearing in their backline. If Donegal can maximise their counter-attacking style, then there are opportunities at that side of the field for them as well.
Paddy Andrews on. Dublin's first substitution was a defensive one, with Jack McCaffrey being replaced by Nicky Devereux, but all attackers since. The Donegal have bucked that trend. And Paddy Andrews is on for Alan Brogan. Just under a quarter of the match to go. A place in the All-Ireland final up for grabs. Donegal have made 4 substitutions. Michael Murphy with Rory O'Carroll. Ryan McHugh. Colin McFadden moves. Murphy wants it back again. McHugh is in. He's on a hat-trick. Ryan McHugh! Saved by Cluxton. He got a touch on it. He got a touch. They've got a point out of it. A score comes out of the attack. But Ryan McHugh, wow.
Wonderful free kick from Lacey. Saw Murphy in a one-to-one, gave it high to him. Murphy fielded expertly, then it orchestrated a delightful 1-2 with McHugh, and McHugh did the rest. Unlucky maybe not to have got a third goal, or his own third goal, I should say.
Dermot Connolly has gone into the Dublin full forward line. McGee is there with him. McGlynn also needs options. He's got one from Keane O'Sullivan. Is there a Dublin goal? Kevin McManaman, Johnny Cooper, Paddy Andrews is calling for it. Donegal force them sideways. Andrews gets the snapshot away. Hanging. Durkin is confident it's gone wide, but it's gone over for a point. It's a decent score. 6 again is the difference.
Yeah, 6 is the difference. Good score that time. Dublin forced to go lateral again and again. Connolly was not able to get inside the defence. More and more Dublin are relying on individual effort, but just watch that save from Cluxton. Brilliant piece of goalkeeping. McHugh will be a bit disappointed he didn't put it a little bit more to the side.
The calmest man in Croke Park. Rory Kavanagh. Donegal possession. Here's Paddy McBrearty. Donegal runners popping all over the place, or popping up all over the place. McHugh could get the hat-trick yet. Michael Murphy. They'll settle for a point out of this attack. He runs straight into James McCarthy. Dean Rock is there too. Michael Fitzsimons also. Dublin possession. It was touched on the ground. Free to Dublin. The All-Ireland title. The Sam Maguire on the line. Paul Flynn. A quarter of an hour. It's a save. Their title, and Flynn is still going. Paul Flynn, Paddy Andrews is screaming for it. Brilliant challenge, but the referee has given a free in. The referee has given Dublin a free in. Paul Flynn had Paddy Andrews unmarked, completely unmarked to his left. They've got a free out of the attack.
Yeah, just watching. Lacey gets in tight. I think Frank McGlynn gets back to him. I thought fairly they crowded him out of it, but there's no doubt about it. Paddy Andrews was loose. I think that's who Flynn was hoping to give the ball to. There was an opportunity on there for the goal we've been talking about.
Dermot Connolly with the free. Over it goes. 5 between them, Connolly and Flynn, the 2 players who've been cajoling those around him and around them. This is the free once more. 3-12 to 16 points.
Well, both sides have shown a massive appetite for battle today, it must be said, Dara. And at the moment, Dublin are looking for a player out there to become a match-shaping influence for them, or a match-winning influence, but so far a player isn't there.
Durkin shapes that out to Rory Kavanagh. Bernard Brogan putting pressure on, but Donegal still have the ball. Rory Kavanagh's put in, An enormous shift for Donegal. Now Neil McGee, the fullback. Paddy Andrews goes with him. Ryan McHugh. Johnny Cooper fouled. And is there going to be some of the Dublin supporters looking for action to be taken? Neil McGee in bother. And a black card for Neil McGee. So
Yeah, we talked
that's a blow. The Donegal full-back for that body collide.
Yeah, well, that is in the rule book, and yeah, I saw last night loads of those and no action taken.
Now Michael Darragh Macaulay, one of those surging runs, needs support to his right, didn't get it. The referee says the ball is wide.
Yeah, the Donegal dander's up at the moment, it must be said. Darragh, quite incensed at McGee being kind of given the black card. But again, according to the rule book, he did block another player's run, and that is the correct decision.
Declan Walsh is the man who's going to replace him. So Neil McGee off for the black card for the deliberate body collide on Johnny Cooper. A 5-point lead. Rory O'Carroll and Neil Gallagher, and that decision has gone against the Dublin fullback.
Yeah, an awkward kind of way of going in for the ball that time, and Gallagher gets the free, Donegal gets the free.
Or McNeilish. Neil Gallagher, Christy Toy. What a battle he's had to get back into this team and get back fully fit. Quite a personal journey for Christy Toy. Ryan McHugh. Paddy McBrearty. Cian O'Sullivan there. There's a gap, a big gap, and Paddy McBrearty finds a way through. McBrearty gets away from the challenges and slots the ball over the bar. Great score from Paddy McBrearty. Sheer determination, power and precision, and it's a 6-point game again.
That's a wonderful responsibility taken on by McBrearty this time. Again, he came on as a sub, wasn't in one of the earlier games this year in the Ulster final, scored 3, but he has been some influence since he's come on today.
Michael Darragh Macaulay, Kevin McMenamin caught waiting for the ball. It's good defending behind him, and the referee says that's a deliberate pickup by James McCarthy.
Yeah, there's a carelessness about Dublin at the moment. That was, you know, an easy enough ball to control and to pick up, but he put his hand, he lifted it clean off the ground. Good refereeing by Joe McQuillan.
All is not well. It hasn't been for a while with the reigning All-Ireland champions. Their grip on the Sam Maguire is loosening, and now Rory Kavanagh has gone off. That was the Paddy McBrearty point. Stunner. Rory Kavanagh off, Martin McElhenney on. Doesn't exactly weaken the Donegal team. He's had a good year, lost his place really as the second choice midfielder when Oran McNeilish came on the scene. Neil Gallagher angling that into the corner, and Paddy McBrearty picks it up nicely. Rory O'Carroll is marking him at the moment. Carl Lacey's in there, Cian O'Sullivan, a very important touch. Dublin have got a 6-point deficit to make up, and we're in the final 10 minutes of another compelling All-Ireland football semi-final. So many big household names in this Dublin team. Will they be able to get them out of trouble? They haven't been in this kind of trouble at all since the league, the latter stages of the league, when they were 10 points down, didn't panic, got themselves out of that bother. Diarmuid Connolly has gone down injured at Donegal, and that was quite a blow to the stomach.
Yeah, that's in the solar plexus. That's a sore blow, particularly at the stage of the game where you're running out of puff.
Michael Murphy has got a yellow card. He's been everywhere.
I just watch it here. It comes in, probably intended to go for the ball because I'm right in the solar plexus. That's a sore belt.
Stephen Cluxton will take the free. Dublin now bringing in Darren Daly. Daly is in for Johnny Cooper, so that's another defensive switch.
And certainly with the belief that Jim McGuinness has engendered in this group of footballers is quite remarkable. I mean, they came in here today, was it as 10-1 underdogs, 10-1 on underdogs or something like that.
Cluxton with the free. It hasn't been his day with the frees, but it could still work out well. A tester for the full backline. Ball breaks loose. Keane O'Sullivan dives on it, but it's cleared away by Ryan McHugh. And that's gone out of play, and it's going to be a Dublin line ball. That's a tight decision. I think it looked as if it came off Paddy Andrews last. The referee a long way away from it, and he's relying on Rory Hickey's eyes. And Hickey is saying it's a Dublin line ball.
Definitely a wrong call. That was a Donegal ball, no doubt about it.
Nicky Devereux. Donegal with 14 players inside their own 45-metre line. Kevin McMenamin. Dublin needs scores, any sort of scores, and that one has gone badly wide by Kevin McMenamin. And we've felt this for a while. It just doesn't appear as if it's going to be their day.
It's not happening for them at the moment. Just watch it here. The ball definitely comes off a Dublin boot last. Lacey certainly got his foot to it, but it came off a Dublin boot last, but nothing of any consequence came of it. That wide by McMenamin sums up the way Dublin are. They're just losing. You can see the belief seeping out of them. 10
wides, and still no goal for the Leinster and All-Ireland champions. Paul Durkin drills it straight down the middle. Dublin have kicked 6 of those wides in the second half. Breaking ball again goes for Donegal. Here they come. Paddy McBrearty shoots into Hill 16. It's an absolutely stunning point from Paddy McBrearty. This has got to be Donegal's day. A wonderful score.
That's incredible. Wonderful score. And Donegal had 2 or 3 players up in attack that time on the overlap, but McBrearty took the responsibility, and it shows just how confident Donegal have been in their approach today after a miserable start.
3-14 to 16 points. Kevin McMenamin in the hurt locker and knocked off it and fouled. And Dublin will have a free, but from somewhere they're going to need to engineer a goal, trailing by 7 points. And Donegal bringing young Darragh O'Connor on. Did his leaving cert in the summer. Jigger's son and Colin McFadden. Well, the faith and the trust that Jim McGuinness had and has in him repaid with his goal. Bernard Brogan.
Wow.
That's an unbelievable miss.
Wow.
An unbelievable miss. 5 minutes to go. 11 wides for Dublin. Still no goal. And that expression says it all.
Yeah, when you look at it, like we're just coming down the final stretch at the moment, Donegal have to prevent a goal, have the, this game won, and they're in control in so many areas of the ground at the moment. There's so many areas of the field, and in particular, if they get the ball over the halfway line, the Dublin defence is all over the place.
Dublin's lowest championship score under Jim Gavin. They've never lost under Gavin in his 20 months in charge in the championship, was 2-12, and that was in last year's All-Ireland final. Keane O'Sullivan. Kevin McMenamin. Not too many people heading for the exits. It's been compelling, gripping. Darren Daly involved in the attack. Is there a way through? Paul Flynn. Flynn, 4-5 Donegal men near him. Keane O'Sullivan. Diarmuid Connolly. They were coached and told not to panic, to stay patient. Michael Darragh Macaulay. Macaulay drills it through, and that's gone wide again. It's slipping out of their hands.
Oh, very much so. You can see the body language of the Dublin players. They have lost all belief in themselves and their system and in what they're doing, and they're panicking at the moment. But I go back to the point I made earlier, Darragh. They believe too much in their own.
Those 5 remarkable days on that training camp. 10 minutes since Dublin scored, and Donegal are lording it again around midfield. Neil Gallagher has been immense. So has Oran McNeilish. They're all heroes, but they've still got a job to do to shut this out. A Dublin scoring blitz, and Donegal will be looking over their shoulders. They're 7 points clear. Quick hands, Dean Rock now. Diarmuid Connolly, wide again. They're panicking.
That's very
It's
obvious.
unbelievable.
Yeah, very obvious. Just it seeped through the team like a cancer, one after the other. They're just firing wildly. All the composure that you associate with Dublin has disappeared, has gone up in smoke.
Carl Lacey is down injured. Dublin kicking a total of 13 wides, 9 wides to 1 in the second half alone. Mick Deegan and Jim Gavin have their work cut out to pull this out of.
the first half at a critical moment to me was a turning point of the game, and also the misplaced pass behind Brogan that could have been a second goal for Dublin.
Wonderful catch from Michael Murphy, and they'll take the free now. The foul by Michael Darragh Macaulay. We were told and led to believe, not by anybody inside the Dublin camp, that these guys were unbeatable. Turn up and win. Donegal had other ideas, other plans. Oran McNeilish, Ryan McHugh has been at the heart of that plan. 2 goals and he could have had a third. And Dublin, who've been scoring for fun, won each match by double-digit margins and conceding less as every game was played in the championship. 16 points they've managed. Paddy Andrews for a 17th, and that has gone over.
Yeah, a little bit of carelessness on the other side of the field. Young O'Connor gave a ball across maybe that should have gone to hand. Good counter-attack from Dublin. A good score from Andrews, but they need, as I said earlier, Dara, they need a goal, and very, very quickly.
Need 2 of them. Paul Mannion has come in for Keane O'Sullivan. And there's a Donegal man down injured, and it's Michael Murphy who has covered almost every blade of grass in Croke Park. There's Paul Mannion, found it hard to establish himself in their team this year, having been a crucial part of that under-21 All-Ireland winning team. Donegal in this
Who beat the unbeatable.
3 out of 4 Ulster titles. They celebrated, and remember Jim McGuinness's celebrations at the full-time whistle in Clonus when they beat Monaghan to win back the Anglo-Celt. But this could lead to even bigger celebrations. They said they weren't as good as back in 2012 when they beat Mayo to win their 2nd All-Ireland title, but they have still work to do. Here's Philly McMahon. Is there a goal in Dublin? The All-Ireland champions, the title on the line. Kevin McMenamin puts it wide. It's gone wide. He tried to drop kick it into the corner. He was the man who changed it in 2011, tried to do his best for his team here in 2014. But it appears it's not going to be their day in the last minute of normal time, and Donegal now bringing Martin O'Reilly in. They just can't believe what they have witnessed.
Yes, and I mentioned beforehand, Dara, you know, about the Donegal bench, that I felt like leading up to the game that they only scored something like 1-5, and that the Dublin bench had scored 2-23. Today, the Donegal, from 1 to whoever has come in, have been absolutely outstanding.
Back-to-back All-Ireland titles. Kerry, the last to do it. Dublin last did it in the 70s. Here comes Ryan McHugh. 2 Dubs try and take it off him, but they've fouled him. And these seconds, 2 minutes of added time, as you can see in the top of your screen, been eaten into. And Ryan McHugh, well, he could do with a breather, I'm sure, at this stage. He's been everywhere.
Yeah, he's been absolutely outstanding today.
And the party has started already in Croke Park on the north side of Dublin. But wherever Donegal people are, they'll be celebrating this. Michael Murphy with the free. It's a free shot into Hill 16. Murphy's drilled it wide in the last minute of additional time. And the all-conquering Leinster and All-Ireland champions, well, the All-Ireland champions bit, they're the outgoing All-Ireland champions, or will be in a matter of seconds. 3-14 to 17 points. Kevin McMenamin dragged to the ground by Paddy McGrath, and McGrath heads off down towards Hill 16. More time being eaten into, and an incident off the ball with Paddy McGrath and Rory O'Carroll, and an unnecessary incident at the end of this match. Joe McQuillan just telling McGrath to get back to his feet. He's down, as you can see, clutching his face.
Yeah, McGrath will get a black card for the pull down early on, and I wouldn't be surprised if Rory O'Carroll also is booked for that.
Yeah, the notebook is out from Joe McQuillan. This is the incident again.
He kicked the ball away, and Rory O'Carroll comes in, and okay, in fairness, Paddy McGrath makes the most of it, but he did execute a pull down earlier on, which does merit a black card.
Well, just how big a surprise and a shock is this? One of the biggest of all time, the unbackable favourites.
It's seismic.